All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Not everybody's in yet, but that's all right. A couple of things I wanted to show you guys today. That Twins thing that I tried out last week works phenomenal. You can add 50 to 100 new followers a day simply by following them, and most of these people will follow back. I went from last week I was at 38 followers. I'm almost at 1,000 now, and it's cross-referencing across other platforms, and it's also getting me more LinkedIn followers. It's getting more LinkedIn views on my articles. It's getting me more Facebook friends. It's really helping me increase my social media, and it's helping me with my YouTube videos too. I'm getting more views on these now. Used to be I only got 10, 15 views on a video. Now I'm getting 20 to 30 to 50, even 80. Holy cow. So any of this stuff you guys want me to show you how to do, let me know and I'll teach you. Anybody got a bid, proposal, solicitation that's due today and needs to start first or do first thing in the morning, or is anybody in a hurry? No? Has anybody got a bid or solicitation proposal to work on today? Anybody got a question?
Hey,
Turn the
John.
volume off again? I did. Sorry, guys. I don't know how I keep doing that. Sorry about that. Anybody got a bid, solicitation, proposal they want to work on today? Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody got a question? Anything you want to work on?
Hey, John. LaTroy with Royalty Consultants. How are you?
Excellent.
Been watching your videos the past few weeks, learning a lot, just getting started.
Okay.
I just got my SAM registration this week, and now I'm just kind of researching to figure out, hey, let's bid on something. What should I bid on next? And
sure.
The one I emailed you was a financial literacy training award, VOC 45, the one I emailed you. Just wanted to kind of just walk me through it, help me kind of read through it to understand the verbiage around it.
Sure. Did you email me the link?
Yeah, let me email you the link. I have it's on the fpds.gov. I have the award number. Email the link real quick. Okay. Okay, I just emailed you the link.
Okay, excellent. Now, you said you got your SAM done. Did you self-certify or did you use support service?
I self-certified. Just kind of, it took me a while. If I known now, probably would have used you guys. Would have been a lot quicker. I got rejected one time, had to resubmit some information, but it got through.
Awesome, awesome. It's not uncommon. Most people fail the first 2 times, and it's funny because pretty much all government registrations are like that. Social Security, disability, even veterans benefits. If you're a veteran and you get an honorable discharge and you come home and you apply for your benefits, most veterans apply 3 times before they get it approved. And it's an average of a year and a half before they get their benefits, which just makes me sick to my stomach to think that a veteran puts their life on the line and sacrifices the things that they sacrifice for us. And then they come home with an honorable discharge, and it takes them a year and a half to get their benefits. But it is what it is. That's the same way with Social Security and disability.
Yeah. And I'm pretty organized. Like I have all my paperwork, and it's a process. It'll make you scratch your head and give up, the average person. But it took me a minute.
we had a guy from Harvard. I'm from Harvard. We have 7 of the most smartest minds in the world here. We can do a SAM registration on our own, right? And 3 months later, he calls back, where's my grants money? I did not receive my grants. And it was funny because I didn't take the call, but he said, well, you guys didn't process your SAM properly. You listed yourself as medicinal instead of medical. So you lost the grant because you put medicinal instead of medical. You lost a $13 million grant because you checked off the wrong box, Mr. Harvard. You know?
Wow.
We have 13 of the brightest minds in the world. If I will say this, if you decide to do like the HubZone or 8A or GSA or any of the other certifications, check with me first, because some of those, if you do them and you don't do it right the first time, you have to wait an entire year before you can process it again.
So I will be getting with you with the 8A. That's the next step. I'm minority black-owned right now at this point, small royalty consulting firm.
Okay.
And I want to do some training, and I want to broker some deals just to get some cash flow flowing through the business, and then take the next step. Like I said, your videos have really helped. I found you some kind of way, and I've been watching them every night, and it self-taught me a lot. I'm further ahead today than I was 6-7 weeks ago.
Hey, I appreciate that.
So thank you.
It only benefits me because once you win one, you're going to come give me a Christmas bonus. Everybody wins.
Exactly. I'm gonna fly to Florida directly to come deliver it.
Happens all the time, man. Before you decide to, before you attempt to do the HubZone or 8A or GSA or any of those other ones, check with me first, because if you fail the first time, we have to wait an entire year before we can do it for you. I get people all the time that say, we did it, we failed. Can you do it for me? Yeah, call me next year.
Wow. So I won't even take that step next until I sit down with you and have that conversation.
You got it. All right,
that is the next step on the radar. Okay.
Let's take a look at this beast. So this is one that's in FPDS. I got it. You sent this to me earlier. Let me pull it up. It's this one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
This getting old stuff's getting old. I can't see anymore. Interpretation of the awards. Okay, so. Okay, so this is the actual award right here. Click the view link, and it'll take you inside that specific. What do you mean expired? You don't have to log in. What are you doing to me? Never seen that before. Okay, so click the view link. That takes us into the contract. Now, this is a multiple obligation, meaning they'll make $100,000 on this when it's done, but they were paid $8,000 up front. You see that?
Yep.
So I already know it's a simplified acquisition because they don't prepay on bid contracts. So I know it's a simplified acquisition right off the bat. There's only one offer received. There's no competition. You see that?
Yep. Wow.
Financial literacy training. You're going to see this a lot, guys, and it's very simple reason why.
So how do I know what type of proposal was submitted? Was it a complicated proposal that was written to get this? Is it still open?
No, this has been awarded. This has been awarded.
Okay.
Unfortunately, without the solicitation ID right here, the likelihood of me finding the original solicitation is next to impossible.
Okay.
If it had solicitation ID here, I could search it in FBO in the archives, but it doesn't. The only other way to figure this out, well, maybe we could search. Is the music too loud, guys, or can you hear me okay?
No, everything's good.
All right.
All good, John.
It's not my day to pick this station. I actually like all kinds of music. This is just not a bad song at all. Retirement seminars? I might have found it.
Okay.
Financial literacy training sounds like financial seminar to me. Retirement, right?
Yep.
What was the date? 429 was 427 was when it was awarded.
Contract Planning Incorporated. Yep.
But this was just awarded on its April 24th. No, it was just awarded May 1st. And it's for $226,500. This is for $100,000. So it's not the right one, but this is another, you could look at this one if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Take a look at that.
So I was saying earlier that there's only one offer received here. All right. And this is very common. Oh, somebody's texting. I've got to keep my eye on the chat window.
That's me. If you can't hear me, Shannon.
Got it. I am talking to
Troy.
LaTroy. That's right. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, the reason why you're going to see one offer on a lot of these is because there's simply not enough small businesses that are registered to handle. You guys are getting 23% of the federal budget. There's not enough small businesses registered to handle 23%. So you're rarely going to find more than 2 to 3 offers received on a bid. And when you consider in the grand scheme of things, guys, there's 30 million small businesses in the United States. Only about 160,000 of them are active, small business that are active in SAM, because over 900,000 are inactive, and half of those are big business. So there's only about 180,000 small businesses that are active right now, sharing that 23% of the entire federal budget. And out of those 160,000, I can only vouch that half of them, they're active, but I can only vouch that half of them are compliant, because we've done 80,000 SAM registrations. So I know for a fact half of them are compliant, but the other half might not be. So you're going to see a lot of opportunities where there's only one offer received, or 2 or 3. And I can tell you, when I brokered contracts back in the 80s and 90s, there was 15 bidders, 20 bidders. We were happy if there was only 10. And we were happy if we were getting 5% markup. You guys can get 15, 20% markup on this stuff. So when I look at an opportunity, first thing I look at, this has been awarded already, but if it wasn't awarded, first thing I look at is when the response date is due. I want to make sure we got plenty of time to respond. And I want to make sure it's not set aside for something I don't qualify for. If it's set aside for a service-disabled veteran woman 8A hub zone, and I don't have all those certifications, there's no sense me wasting time on it, okay? If it is set aside for something I don't qualify for, but I'm definitely interested in it, I'm still going to put it on my watch list, which there's no watch list now because it's been awarded. But I'm going to put it on my watch list just in case no veteran bids on it and they pull it out and put it back in as a small business set aside and I miss it later. I don't want to miss it. So they might not have the links here, might not work because it's been awarded. No. Yeah, see, it's just an award notice. It's not going to show us the original documents. Let me do this. Let me find one that is open, or does anybody else have a bid to work on today? And we'll work on that, and then I'll come back and find another retirement something.
Great. Cool. Thanks.
No problem. Anybody got a bid, solicitation, proposal to work on? If not, I'll search one and find one.
John, off of LaToya's question, would there just be there would be an option just to click to save the, like you just mentioned, save it. That
Yeah,
way,
let me show you.
if they don't get the proper vendor, then it would be open to someone like Detroit, or
Yep.
there would be like just a save option, right?
Yeah, let me show you. So let's say, for example, I want to run salt. Okay, see where it says watch this opportunity?
Yes.
If you click that, it's going to make you logged in if you're not already logged in. It puts it on your watch list. So you'll be notified when this is modified, changed, canceled, awarded. They have to notify you because it's on your watch list. And then it's easy to keep track of ones that you're interested in, because you can go to My FBO and go to your watch list, and everything you put on your watch list is right there in order of date. So it's easy to keep track of stuff that you're interested in. So I've got plenty of time to respond. It's something we're set aside for. So we're going to read the synopsis. Synopsis is going to give us a lot of blah, blah, blah. After you do a couple of these, you'll speed read them. All right? So blah, 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 blah. This is all NAICS code, size standard, award, direct panel. So this is a procurement for OEM medical equipment. Vendors shall be an OEM authorized dealer. So if you're not an authorized dealer of the equipment, you can't bid on this one. So don't waste any time on it. Blah, blah, blah. Preferred vendor is that company. So if you're your supplier, authorized dealer for that company, you can give them a quote with a part number, description, quantity, unit of measure, line item, etc. And in this case, all they're asking you to do is put this information on your letterhead and email it. That's how easy this bid is. They want you to copy this to your letterhead, answer all the questions, and email it to them. Some of these solicitation guys, it's going to take you longer to go out and find a supplier and get a quote than it's going to take you to actually put the bid together and submit it. And when I tell you guys, a lot of times these things are really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. This is exactly what I mean. Let's go back and find a different one that's a little more complicated. Okay. Hurricane Protection System in Parrish, Louisiana. So again, when's it due? Make sure we got plenty of time to respond, and then we're set aside. We qualify. Check out the synopsis. Pumping station, description of work, pump station, blah, blah, blah. Culverts, estimated between 25 million and 100 million. The firms must have the applicable NAICS code of 237990. This is BS, guys. You don't have to do this, but I don't want you to argue with a purchasing agent over it. So when you see something like this, you CC me, you email your case manager and ask them to add that NAICS code, and you CC me on it, and I'll make sure it gets added. And I will tell the purchasing agent that they're wrong. I don't want you doing it, because then you're messing with your relationship with that purchasing agent. I want you to have a good relationship with that purchasing agent. So don't ever tell them they're wrong. Let me be the bad guy.
John, what is a set aside?
Set aside is contracts that are set aside for a small business or a woman or minority or veteran, 8A, hub zone. The set asides, if you need, let me know and I can send you my set aside letter. But 23% of the federal budget set aside for small businesses. 5% for minorities, 5% for women, 5% for veterans, 5% for 8As, 3% for service-disabled veterans, and 3% for hub zones. What that means is every agency is supposed to award 23% of their contracts to small businesses. They're supposed to award 5% to minorities, women and veterans, 8As, etc. Your best set-asides are from here down, the veteran, SDV, 8A, and hub zone, simply because of the lack of competition. As a woman-owned small business, you ladies are getting the short end of the stick right now, because you simply have you have more competition. You have almost twice as many women sharing that 5% than veterans do. And minorities, you guys are up there too. You know, you got almost twice as much competition as a minority than you do as a veteran. So you're better off if you're a veteran, or if you have a partner and you're a veteran, your partner's a woman, you're better off being a veteran set aside than a woman because of the lack of competition. And to show you what I mean by that, if you go into FBO and you do a basic search, find opportunities, and do one under construction, look at how many of these opportunities say small business. Almost every one of them will say small business, more than half. And you've got usually about a third of them are set aside for veterans. Veteran, so small business veteran, hub zone, small business. But do you see any contracts on here that are set aside for women? Nope. And it's not because they're being sexist, but, you know, that women can't do construction. I know some damn good construction companies that are owned by women. It's just that there's so many women-owned businesses, they don't have a problem filling that set-aside requirement. But they have a problem filling the veteran set-aside in the 8A and the hub zone. You won't see many 8As and hub zones in here because a lot of times those aren't even put out for bid. They sole source them. And that's how they meet their criteria on the set-asides for those hub zone and 8A. So let's look at this one. Okay, so again, response date. Got plenty of time to respond. Who's it set aside for? Nobody. That means anyone can bid on it. Big guys too. Combined synopsis, that means it's an open solicitation. Blah, 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 blah. This is not set aside for a veteran, but they are saying that they're going to give preference to a veteran or a service disabled veteran. They're going to say this a lot. And that's because they're having a hard time meeting that veteran set-aside requirement. NAICS code, blah, 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 size standard for a small business. Quoters are urged and expected to inspect the site where the services that are being performed to satisfy themselves regarding all general and local conditions may affect the cost of contract performance, extends a partial eventual failure to inspect the site is going to claim for a contract award. So they're saying if you don't go to the site inspection and you submit a quote and your quote is wrong because you didn't go to the site inspection, that's your problem. So the inspection's not mandatory. I rarely see mandatory site inspections, but if it does say it's mandatory and you don't make it, they're not going to allow you to bid. In this case, they're telling you that if you don't make it and you submit a bid and your bid is wrong because you didn't make the site visit, that's not their problem. And their government's always going to cover their asses. They're always going to do stuff like this to make sure that they don't get into a compromising position. Site visit was on 16th of May, so it's coming up here a week and a half from now. This is one that if you're not local and you cannot make this site visit, I wouldn't bid on it. It's too risky. They are going to do a Q&A. Questions are due by 19th at 10 a.m. and you would email your questions in. Once they get those questions, it'll probably take them a day or two, and they'll post a Q&A on here. They'll post the questions with the answers, and then they'll modify it. They'll do a modification over here, and they'll most likely extend the due date. And so this is your CLIN. CLIN stands for Client Contract Line Item Number. So this is the first thing they want to buy. Number one, they need personnel, supplies, equipment, transportation for uninterruptible power supply system that are going to work in their telecommunications closet. So unit one, quantity measure, job price right there. That's where the computer room's located, blah, blah, blah. Second thing they want to buy. Unit price and then the total price. So carry this price and add it to this price, which would be this price. And then same thing. That would be carried and added to this price to make this price, etc. Okay, so this is how they're going to evaluate. 52.212 is an evaluation phase, how they're going to evaluate the bids. 52.212-1 is how they want you to submit your bid, instructions to offer right there. 52.212-3 is that they want you to include a copy of your SAM. 52.212-4 is usually the debriefing and the bid protest, but in this case, they're using it for a different reason. The rest of this stuff is all listed in your reps and certs. You just got to include a copy of your reps and certs. So this looks like a highly complicated bid. It's not too much because this is Davis-Bacon, so there's going to be prevailing wages. So in this case, most likely they want you to email them the bid, and they want you to email them a copy of your cap statement, your letterhead, your cover page, your signature page, cap statement, a copy of like a piece of letterhead with the bid on it. There's probably a standard form over here. They're going to want to know what warranties or express warranties are on the product. So they're going to want a technical proposal, which would be a brochure for the product. And then your technical proposal would be a description of how you're going to do the install and do it properly and safely. Any of you guys that did not get my acronyms list, so you would know what a CLIN is, let me know and I'll email you my acronyms list.
This is Michael. I don't believe I got it. I'll send it to you on chat.
Yeah, just drop me an email, and that way I don't forget. Anybody have any questions about this bid? Does anybody have any questions in general, or anybody just joined us, got a bid, solicitation, proposal you want to work on?
Hey, John, this is Hillary over at 24/7.
Yes.
I sent you an email. I had a question on the proposal part. I'm not quite sure. This is my first time bidding, so I'm not sure on what I'm supposed to include for the product unit and price.
Alrighty. This one right here?
Yes, I attached the proposal too, just in case, but that's the link is the link to the bid or the contract.
All right, I don't want to look through 15 attachments, so I'll just go by your email.
Yeah, and the email on the performance, the state of work, or the
Performance work statement?
yeah, on that, I just copied and pasted exactly what it is we're supposed to be doing. So.
Did you have a question on this page?
I had, yes, just the question of, like, are we supposed to be getting how are we supposed to create the product and unit price, or where do we get that information from?
Oh, there's no standard form on here. Usually the standard forms have a section for your unit price and all that. So let's go check out the other attachment.
That attachment is just my actual proposal that I've
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So what we're looking for is what's called the instructions to offerer.
Right.
So I'm going to do a Control F, put in the word instructions.
And that was just a standard, offer.
Okay. I searched it and it didn't show the word instructions. So I want to make sure this document's searchable first. So I'm going to search a word that I know would be in here like the. Okay, so the search does work. Not all documents are searchable. So it's not on this document. So I'm going to go back. Oh, excuse me. Woo! Bid schedule, CDRL, figures, contractor docs, definitions, acronyms, claims and liability.
I believe it's in the first one
Yeah, more than likely it's either here or here. So I'm going to
or
try.
in the bid. Yeah.
There it is. Boom. There's our standard form.
Okay.
So the standard form is what you fill out, and that's where you put your unit price and amount. Now here it says see schedule.
Okay.
So you're going to skip this and you're going to scroll down. This normally you'd fill it out here, but it's still saying see schedule. So scroll down again.
Okay.
And this is the schedule right here, continuation sheet, standard form 1449 continuation sheet. This is where they want you to fill it out. Number of quantity times whatever the unit is. The quantity times the unit price, excuse me, equals your amount. And then you carry that amount to here. Quantity times the unit price equals the amount plus this amount is carried here.
Okay.
Quantity times unit price equals amount plus this amount is carried here. So you're carrying down the total amount each time where it says net amount. That means the total of all the other amounts. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
So when you get done with all these amounts at the very bottom, you're going to have one net amount that's the total of all those other amounts that's going to go on that bottom line.
Okay.
Now, when you
go
save this
ahead.
document, I don't know why they do this, but when you save this document, you need to leave the rest of the pages on it.
Leave the rest of the pages. Okay.
The entire document together.
Okay.
All right, there's your scope of work. That tells you what it is they want to buy. I don't know why they do this. I mean, they used to do it back in the day before before ORCA existed, because you would literally, in the day, you would have to fill out this entire form. Every time you submit a bid, you'd have to fill out one of these forms and answer all these questions in the reps inserts. All 97 pages of this document, you'd have to manually fill out every time you submit a bid. Once they invented ORCA, Online Representation Certifications Application, then you were able to use your ORCA and not have to manually fill these documents out each time. Now ORCA is a part of SAM, so you don't have to fill out this entire document, but for some reason, they still want you to keep the document in one piece. I guess it's for whatever legal reasons. And it's just one of those things that, you know, the government does things that don't make sense, period.
Right.
All right. Now, there's one more thing you want to look for on here that you need to fill out on this form. Outside of putting in your pricing and filling out the standard form, you need to make sure there's no notification of amendments. Because if there is, you need to certify that you've seen the amendments. And if you don't, they're not going to accept your bid. So we're going to do another Control F. I'm going to look up the word amendment.
Okay. Now, I did see that they changed
Not amendment.
Amendment 3, but it showed up on their Amendment 4.
Okay. All questions, email, letters, blah, 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 blah. Questions, phone calls not be accepted. Government sends questions. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're going to... Okay, there's no... nowhere on here that they're telling you that you need to acknowledge the amendments. So part of the 52.2 and 2-1 instructions to offer states that if there's an amendment, you need to certify that that you acknowledge the amendment. Otherwise, if you win the contract and you say, well, I didn't know there was an amendment, you know, that's a problem. But then they're like, yeah, you did, because you certified that you did.
Okay.
And there is no amendment notification on here. And there's definitely amendments. That's all these things over here. Every one of those is an amendment. So in addition to your cover page and your signature page and all the other documentation that's required for 52.2 and 2-1, you're going to need to put a letterhead that says that you acknowledge those amendments, and you need to list each of those amendments. Amendment number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on each one that's numbered, you're going to specify the date and time it was amended. And then you need to sign and date and certify that page that you agree that you acknowledge the amendments.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
No.
Anybody else got any questions regarding this one? No? Okay. Anybody got a bid solicitation proposal to work on or other questions about anything else?
John, if no one else has a question on the bid that's due today, can we just talk through simplified acquisitions?
Sure.
I mean, basically, I'm just getting started, doing mostly miscellaneous tools, supplies, a lot of brokering. Just really maybe working. Can you just talk about the elevator pitch, getting to know these guys, how to get in,
Absolutely.
and get et cetera.
Okay, we're going to start with how to search simplified acquisitions. Go to fpds.gov and put in the word simplified. There's 14,111,053 contracts in the system right now that have been done as a simplified acquisition. The system tracks less than 10% of the spending. So if we're seeing 14 million that have been awarded, more than likely there's been 140 million awarded, but we're not seeing them all because the system only tracks less than 10% of the spending. But it gives us a general idea. I'm going to go by action obligations. You can see the largest $1 billion contract was awarded under simplified acquisitions. I have a client that got a $1 billion contract under simplified acquisition, and there was only one offer received. Where is it?
Was that over like a period, like 7 or 8 years, or was that a one-shot deal, or?
It's from 1/4/17 to 9/15/2020. So it's a 3-year contract. Right there, $1 billion. And they were paid $750,000 up front, which is enough to cover the bid bond on a $1 billion contract. And he'll be paid $3.13 million, probably monthly. They only did $1 million in revenues last year, guys, with 13 employees. This guy went from being $1 million company to $1 billion company overnight.
What was the nature of the simplified acquisition contract? What type of contract was this?
Right there, fire safety services.
Okay.
You fast. It comes up under the NACS code for engineering. But $1 million company, $1 billion company overnight, just like that. And here's the kicker. See, it was done as a simplified acquisition.
Yep.
You guys see that? Look at how many offers received.
Just one, yeah.
One. No competition.
Holy
I'd say it, man. Holy shit.
So,
Right.
so on the I mean, really, when you start first reaching out to these purchasing agents for the very first time, what types of things do you think are good to identify about yourself in terms of your strong points, your core competencies, et cetera, et cetera? I mean, with your experience, how would you approach these purchasing agents for the first time to start developing those relationships?
I'm going to help you write your elevator pitch, and that's exactly what you need to say verbatim. We'll take a look at this one, and I'll show you that next. This one's from 5/4 to 9/30. It's $50,000 contract. This company is a one employee, so it's a one-man show. He did $120,000 in revenues last year. And he's got one contract that's more than half his revenues for the entire year from last year. A little less than half, And he could win 5 of these this year, guys. The proof's in the pudding. It's right here. One-man show, and he's a DBA. He's not even, I don't want to say legitimate business, but he's not an S Corp or an LLC or a C Corp. He's doing business as a freaking DBA with the federal government. was done as a simplified acquisition, only 3 offers received. That's typically the most you're going to see is 3. When I brokered back in the 80s and 90s, man, there was 15 offers on the average. If there was only 10 offers, I was thrilled. And my average markup was 2 to 3%. If I got 5%, man, I was just on top of the world. You guys have it made, man. The 2 to 3 offers received, and the average markup's 15 to 20%. You guys could kill it.
John, quick question on narrative statement. So
Yes.
I got a narrative statement that's geared towards kind of what my business does, but how do I use that or change that if I want to broker deals on something that's not related to what I specifically do? How do you kind of take that approach?
Best thing to do is write one cap statement that's a general cap statement. And then as you start submitting bids, modify that cap statement to be specific towards what it is that you're bidding on and save it each time. So you're creating templates for future opportunities. All right, but you want to start out with a one page cap statement. That's it, not front and back. One side, one page cap statement. Keep it as simple as possible. And I say this, and I've got clients that'll vouch for me 100% when I say this, keep it simple. Purchasing agents are lazy. They don't want to read a freaking 3-page document to find out what it is you do, you know. Same thing with your elevator pitch. I'll help you write your elevator pitch. They're not that difficult, but keep it simple. You want your elevator pitch to be 15 to 20 seconds. You want to call. You want to tell them who you are, what company you're with, and so, for example, me calling a purchasing agent. Hi, Bill. My name's John Wayne. I'm with USFCR. I was calling today because we provide blah, 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 and we specialize in blah, 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 and we're a woman, minority, veteran, 8A holder. What can I do to earn your business, Bill? What was that, 15 seconds, not even? When someone tells you your elevator pitch should be 2 minutes, that might work in the private arena, but not in the federal government arena. Number one, more than half, I'd say way more than half, not all purchasing agents are allowed to make simplified acquisition purchases. Some of them have to put everything out for bid. There's no way around it. So when you call one of those guys and ask him what you can do to earn his business, you're wasting your time and his, because there's no way he can hire you directly. And he'll tell you that. He'll say everything we do has to go out for bid in FBO. You're wasting your time calling me. Take them off your list. Don't call them again. Take them out of your database. That's why it's important to have a 15, 20-second elevator pitch, because you're going to run into a lot of no's. Because not all purchasing agents can buy simplified acquisitions. And if you got a 2-minute elevator pitch, you can technically only make $30 an hour. And a lot of those guys are going to, after you sit there and talk for 2 minutes, they're going to say, well, we can't buy from you, so you just wasted 2 minutes of my time. Write your elevator pitch, short, sweet, to the point, and I promise you, if you make enough phone calls, you will line up business using that elevator pitch, cold calling. I promise you. I've seen it time and time again. I had a contractor tell me, we've been making calls for 2 weeks. We're getting nowhere. All we get is people telling us we're wasting our time. I understand, but you got to stick with it. You got to trust me on this. All right, well, we're going to give it another couple of days. And a couple of days later, he called me up. He's like, John Wayne, holy cow. It just like 5 phone calls in a row were perfect. We already got one deal sold, and we've already been paid on it. We got another deal we're setting up right now. We got 2 more appointments to go meet tomorrow. Thank you for insisting that I continue to make these phone calls, because it does work. It's not, you know, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, guys. If it was a get-rich-quick scheme, everybody would be doing it. But there's not a lot of competition, and it's not that difficult to do. If you're due diligent, that's probably not the word I should use there. If you do your due diligence and you submit bids and you pick up that phone and make the phone calls, I guarantee you're going to be successful. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. But if you submit a few bids and make a few phone calls and you don't get anywhere and you get frustrated and you give up, that's your problem. I won't give up on you until you give up on me. So as long as you don't give up on me, you're going to be successful. It's just a matter of time. To find the people to call, when you sign up with us, we give you a list. We run a report and give you a list. But that's like you give a man a fish, feed him for a day. I want to teach you guys how to fish, all right? To find purchasing agents that you want to market yourself to And to find prime contractors, there's several systems. Number one, FBO. You're in FBO and you're working on a contract, okay? Let's say we're working on this one. Well, at the very bottom is the point of contact. Every time you work on a bid, copy the primary and secondary point of contact and paste them into an Excel spreadsheet or some database you can maintain them, and paste them under household goods services. Start creating a database of purchasing agents. Now, I don't suggest you reach out to Libya right now if you're bidding on this, because you don't want to harass her. You don't want to bother her when you're bidding. Right? The more you call these guys, the more you harass them, the less likely they are to award it to you, because they're lazy and they don't want you calling them. And they might think if they award it to you, you're going to call them all the time. So don't call them unless you absolutely have to. But after you bid on this, 2 months down the road, there's nothing wrong with following up with Libya and hitting her with your elevator pitch and asking her what you can do to earn her business. So as you're using FBO to bid, you're also creating a database of future dials. And if you go to the interested vendors list, which there's not one, of course, every time I want to show you something, they're not going to have it. It's going to prove me wrong. So let's go back. I went back too far. I did it again. Okay, so let's say we're bidding on this one. I want to find vendors that I can offer to sell to or supply to or work with. Not government purchasing agents, but private vendors that I can sell to as a subcontractor, etc. Go to the interested vendors list. I'm going to add myself. I'm going to go to the interested vendors list, and I'm the only one on it, of course. I'm trying to prove something. Normally, there'd be a list of people on here. Let's go back to notice details. Let's return to opportunities. Let's pick a different one. And of course, again, trying to prove a point, it's going to make a liar of me. Okay, so there's a few people on the interested vendors list. Now, some of these people you might be able to sell to. Even though it's not a government agency, it's a private for-profit company. If I can teach you how to sell more to the private arena or commercial, or industrial, residential, state, local government, I don't care if it's not federal. If I can teach you to sell more, I'm going to teach you to sell more, period. I'm going to teach you guys everything I know, right? It's possible we could sell to Anamizu here. So what we want to do, while we're in FBO and we're doing this anyway, cut and paste, copy and paste these guys into a database and name it FBO leads or something. Now, not everybody in here is bidding, okay? Marvin Heyman is not bidding, although he does bids because he's a he's a proposal writer. That's why his name is listed as Avon Aaron, because this system goes by alphabetical order of the person's last name. Marvin is not bidding. He's not a competitor. He wants someone to pay him to write this bid. That's why there's no business types or NAICS codes either, because he doesn't have a full account set up, because his accounts get flagged and deleted all the time. I used to refer people to Marvin before I did proposal writing services, but you know, I've never said this before. I'm going to say it. He did a proposal for a nuclear power plant, and he forgot to attach the bid bond, and my client lost the proposal, because he forgot to attach the bid bond. A basic amateur mistake cost my client $1 billion contract. And that's why I started writing proposals myself, because I'll be damned if I'm going to refer people to someone who's going to make a mistake like that. So he's not, you know, he's not going to buy anything from you. Calling him and asking him to, you know, work with him, he's not going to buy anything. He's not a government contractor. But this guy may be. Now, Armcorp is not bidding. They finance contracts. They're a finance company. So they're on here because they want you to hire them to finance your contracts. Honeywell Logistics, they're probably bidding, or they may be selling something. Frank Riley is a bid protest attorney. He's not bidding. He just wants you to hire him to protest the bid if you don't win it. If you need to do a bid protest, I will do it for you for free and teach you how to do it for free. All right, but my point is, sometimes in this interested vendors list, there's 10 vendors and 8 of them are people that you could contact and sell to. So cut and paste that information into a database and use that as part of your lead source, okay? Now, so that's one place you can get leads from is FBO. A second place you can get leads from is the Federal Procurement Data System. The beauty of FPDS, you can go in here, you can pull up your competitors and see who your competitors are selling to and market yourself directly to your competitors' purchasing agents. So let's say I was in construction. And anytime you call a federal purchasing agent, make sure you mention that you're set up for simplified acquisitions. All right, so let's say, going by date signed right there, let's say this is a competitor of mine. I want to know who they're selling to. I want to know who their purchasing agent is. Click the view link. Go inside this opportunity and copy the prepared user's name. Prepared user or last modified user. They might be different. You're going to copy that, and you're going to search this in a very secret database no one knows about. I'm going to share it with you. All right? You're going to search this in a secret database called Google. Just Google it. And there's his real name, Jeremiah B. Rogers, works for the Department of Transportation. He's with the Federal Highway Administration. And there's his actual real email, because a lot of times this isn't their real email. There's his real email. I'm going to mute you guys because I got some background noise. There's his real email. And there's his phone number right there. Boom. Now you can call Jeremiah, hit him with your elevator pitch, let him know you're set up for simplified acquisitions, and say, I see you recently awarded a contract for painting and drywall covering out in Arizona. That's what I do. I specialize in that. What can I do to earn your business? And you can contact his purchasing agent and market yourself directly to your competitors' purchasing agents. Now let's say these guys aren't a competitor, and I would like to sell to them, or I would like to do work for them as a subcontractor. Take their DUNS number, and this time you're actually going to go to a database that not very many people know about. It's called Cage. It used to be called BINCS, B-I-N-C-S, but they changed it, and now it's called Cage, which stands for Commercial and Government Entity Program, or your CAGE code, Commercial and Government Entity Code. You go down here, accept the terms and conditions. You paste in the DUNS number, and voila, nothing came up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I definitely got the DUNS number. That's weird. All right, let's try this one. Voila, there you go. There's Intermountain Slurry Seal. Click the details. There's your point of contact, Ashley Stinson. There's the phone number. Now, when you call Ashley, you're going to hit Ashley with your elevator pitch, but you're also going to tell Ashley that you can help her with her ESRS requirements. You tell purchasing agents you can help them with simplified acquisitions. You tell contractors you can help them with their ESRS requirements. If you don't have my acronyms list, email me and I'll send you a copy of it. ESRS stands for Electronic Subcontract Reporting System. That is the system when a, excuse me. Yeah. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. ESRS is the system that when a prime contractor hires you, they're going to post how much they paid you in that system to prove that they hired a small business. Because primes have to hire small businesses when they get contracts over $650,000. Just like the government has to award 23% of their budget to small business, Primes have to subcontract out 23% of large contracts to small businesses as well. So those guys are always looking for small businesses to do business with. Even if they're just buying from you directly and you're not actually working on their contract, they can still write that off in the ESRS. Any questions? Can you guys still hear me?
How can I look up contracts for accounting services?
Opportunities to bid on?
Yes.
FBO. Or if you signed up for Simplified Acquisitions, or you signed up for AFPDS, our AFPDS will do that as well. So for example, if you didn't sign up for AFPDS and you're using FBO, you want to go to my FBO, go to Find Opportunities, and put in a keyword. Or you set up your searches, and your search agents run automatically every day. Any other questions?
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else got a question? No, if there's no other questions, it's almost 5 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down for the day. I'll be back on here tomorrow. No, I won't be back on here tomorrow. It's Friday. Woo! I will be back on here Monday. And we are going to implement a new training next week, Wednesday at noon. I'm going to do a noon training. We're going to see how it works. And I may start switching them every other day from 4 o'clock to noon. Because some people are, traveling at this time of the day, or some people are in California and they're at lunch and it just doesn't work out. So I want to try and be flexible. But I should have the camera set up next week, so you guys are going to start seeing my smiling face. I'm not that pretty, but I guess people want to see it. So.
So are you switching your time to noon, or you're having 2 sessions?
We're going to do 2 sessions that day. We're going to still do the normal session at 4, but I want to try a noon session and see how that works out as well.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, guys?
Okay.
Make sure if you guys want me to send you the acronyms or anything, email me.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
You got it. You guys have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye.